The dark side of side hustles. Are they really a great way to make additional money, or are they just going to keep you stuck and to keep you stuck in poverty? Well, today we're gonna find it out. But first, let me introduce myself. So, why should you listen to this video? Why should I be someone that you actually listen to when it comes to side hustles and when it comes to making money, whether we're talking business, online, offline, whatever? So, let me tell you about myself. My name is Thomas. I actually am the founder of a company, a Portuguese company, where we are at right now. It's actually our corporate office here in Lagoas Park, Portugal, where I built a $1 million company that's currently operating and that's still living and kicking and growing. And so this is the main reason why you should listen to me, because I not only did I grow beyond whatever small, it's still a small business, but I've actually always been doing small stuff and doing work. I've just never did a side hustle, and so I think it's good to hear from the perspective of someone that started the business from scratch but never actually got what is considered a side hustle. I'll get into the definitions in a second, just because there's also some confusion between what is a side hustle and what is an actual business, and so we'll break that down. But first off, why should you listen to me? So I have actually been running companies for half a decade now, over half a decade. I started my first company 2017. I was helping businesses with their online stuff, websites. I started before that. It was not an incorporated business, but I've been selling shirts, t-shirts, I've been selling candy, I've been selling all sorts of stuff throughout the years, and so I've had a lot of small businesses and a lot of small ways to make additional income. Obviously, this is my main business now. For many years now it has been. Since 2019, this has been the one and only thing that I've been focusing on. This is all, at this point, is a small conglomerate of small companies, and so it's a real company that has some divisions that operate independently, and it's an actual stable business now. But when I started off, it was obviously a small operation that ended up growing, and it's important to make the distinction between an actual small business that's operating and a side gig, because those are different things, but we'll get into that. The other reason you should listen to me is because if you are starting and doing a side hustle, it's probably because you want to make some extra money on the side. And so I, last year, qualified to be on the top 3%, I mean the top 3% of income earners in Europe, at least according to ChatGPT, which is a funny source of this kind of numbers, but it's a great aggregator of data, and so I just searched where I fell in, and it apparently is on the top 3%, so take that as you may, because it's an automated tale, and obviously all of this could be fake. This could actually be my basement, and you could actually be watching a PowerPoint from an Italian dude, and I'm saying I'm Portuguese. But if you assume that some of the stuff I'm saying is true, that you can possibly assume this is true as well. So the other reason why I think you should listen to me is because I started off small, but I never did side hustles, and I don't think you should either. I'll get into the details and the specifics of why I do not like the idea of side hustles, and I don't think they're a productive thing. Quite the opposite, actually. I think they are a great way to turn people that are motivated and then that want to do more into people that resent the way businesses work and the way things work, because they simply can't get ahead and they don't understand why, and they do have the motivation and the drive to work, but because they are in the wrong opportunity, the wrong vehicle, the wrong vehicle per se, they are not capable of getting the revenue they should be getting with the effort they're putting in. And so I'll break that down more specifically in what I'm specifically talking about, but that's the reason I do not like side hustles. And the other two reasons why you should listen to me is because I'm an actual business owner. So I've built my business on a very traditional industry, which is the medical industry. I've built all my current businesses now operate around the medical industry, and so this is not I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a cool online guy of the blockchains and the cryptos and blah 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 blah. Most of my friends have like very traditional businesses, insurance businesses, printer shops, HVAC, like very traditional brick and mortar businesses. I myself included, I have an office. Like I'm probably one of the only 20-year-old business owners that actually has a real office. Most people just work from home, and I have a 50-person team working from home. So I'm a very traditional guy in that way, and so you're gonna get the perspective of someone that understands both sides, both the more traditional business sense of work, and also the more modern computers, AI, blah 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 kind of stuff. And so I'll try to not be partial on that. And also, if you find no other reason to watch this, just watch it because my accent is funny. It's a Portuguese accent, very rare. You cannot find this is the rarest accent. I should put it on the video title, just rare accent, and so that makes this video more valuable. And so before we get started, just once again let me explain what I mean by side hustle and starting small. Starting small is not a side hustle. So if you really want to build a business selling, a t-shirt selling business, and you really want to have a huge building just like the guy from Gymshark has, Ben Francis, or you really just want to have a gigantic fleet of cars working for you, then what you're doing may not be a side hustle. If you are actually trying to start a business here, and if you want to incorporate the company, and if you want to add employees and to add office space and to really build it, then you are not really, you are starting small. You're just starting small. If you are starting to sell stuff online, but it's because you are actually trying to build a brand of phones, if you are selling phones online, but you want to become a big retailer of phones, then you're building a business. You're not building a brand, and obviously you know that. So if you're planning on adding employees, adding locations, adding inventory, if you're not trying to dropship or to just drive on the side per se or blah blah blah, then you are not starting a side hustle. And I'm not pounding on you. I'm pounding on the people that are just have already a main source of income but are trying to start a side hustle. So if you're starting small but you're starting a business, do not understand me incorrectly, because you gotta start somewhere, and that's a great thing, and that's definitely not what we're talking about in this video. In this video, we're talking about side hustle. So we're talking about selling stuff on Amazon, we're talking about flipping phones, driving Uber, getting into the crypto pyramid schemes, all that fun stuff. But let's first define what a side hustle is. So a side hustle is a job or a business that someone works on the side in addition to their full-time job. It is a way for someone to earn more money. This is the definition I found on the internet. I think it's pretty accurate, and I want to just underline the importance of the sentence here, in addition to their full-time job. So if you have a main thing and you are doing this in addition to the main thing, I think you are doing yourself a disservice, because not only are you not focusing fully your attention on your main thing, but you are also not focusing your entire attention on the second thing, and so you end up just kinda not doing any one of them very well. And so let's start with the main reason why I don't like and I don't believe in side hustles. It's very simple. It's because if something is worth doing once, and then it's worth doing multiple times. And so if you don't believe in your product that you're selling enough to actually quit your day job and go full-time at your side hustle, then you should not be doing a side hustle. And a lot of people say, oh, but I'm trying to make a bit more money here, but like, if you are investing 10 hours and you're not getting enough for those 10 hours to surpass your current hourly rate, then by working 100 hours you will not surpass your hourly rate. And the reason why people usually do this is because they don't understand they can actually progress on either their job or whatever they're doing, and they're seeing somebody on the internet just talking about how much money they're making. And by the way, let me just share with you why I'm making this video. So as I just told you, I actually have a company that services medical facilities here in Portugal. That's my main division of business, and one of my clients, this is a very cool guy. He's been a client for a long time, and he's got a multi-million-dollar business in Porto, another city in Portugal. And the other day he was talking to me. He's not an internet guy. He's not one of these internet people. Obviously, he's a very traditional business. And he was talking to me, and he was like, "Well, Thomas, you know, I've been watching this guy. I found this guy on Instagram, and he does this drop shipping thing. And I know you understand this internet stuff. Could you help me look more into this drop shipping stuff?" And I'm like, well, that's like that's a business like any other. Like you source a product, you build a brand, you open up a factory, you start for manufacturing whatever product that is, and you start shipping it. And he's like, oh no, but I don't want it to be something that takes a lot of working employees like we have here. I want it to be something that just makes some extra money without work. And I was like, oh, you saw an ad, because all the side hustles are promoted as this amazing, wonderful opportunity where you don't do anything and you make a lot of money. But have you noticed that the guy that's doing the ad actually does not do that side hustle for a living? Like, if you have someone promoting an opportunity, that person should at least have started in a very meaningful way with that opportunity. And I'm not saying there are like in business it's actually quite frequent to have someone that was successful in that business and then started teaching other people how to do it. But side hustles, I don't really like that culture because it's a culture where it's mostly based not on tangible assets, like someone exited a $20 million business and now is trying to teach you how to do it, but rather people showing you like a receipt for some random sale they did online, and then they're telling you they're gonna teach you how to do it. And because most people that try to get into side hustles are people that are absolute beginners in the entrepreneurship world, in the business world, they just get sunk into how sexy and how appealing the numbers can be without understanding that those numbers many times don't, like, even if the numbers are real in terms of like the guy showing you that his buyers are doing $10,000 per month in sales online, like $10,000 a month per sale in sales online can vary dramatically in terms of profit, because if you're doing the drop shipping and that kind of stuff, you could actually have like 10% margins or negative margins, because those things have many cuts added, and so you could be getting into an opportunity where the numbers the guy shows you are actually not good enough to even be profitable. And so that's one of the ways that people get misled. Just they look at how sexy the opportunity can be without understanding the finances behind it, because that's the main thing I'm trying to get here, which is that it's all business. It's all business. And if you are getting into a side hustle because you just want to do something that doesn't take work, or doesn't take much work, but it generates extra money, then you're probably gonna be very disappointed, because it's not gonna generate more money than your main thing if you have a decent main thing. And now you may not have a decent main thing, but if you don't have a decent main thing, then you should not be focusing on trying to get a complement to the main thing. You should be focusing on improving the main thing. And I'm getting a bit abstract here, so I'll just give you the other arguments to why this should not be the path you pursue. So, as I said, the main reason I don't like side hustles is because you are not confident enough to give it all your time. And so if you're not confident enough to give it all your time, you probably shouldn't be doing a couple times either. So if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing multiple times, and as long as it's working, it should be done as often as possible. So if you're not doing it all the time, then you should probably not be doing it a few times a week either. And so, if you don't trust, I'll give you a comparison that I think you'll appreciate, which is with investments, and I think you'll understand what I mean here. So, if you don't trust an investment enough to put all your money in it, I'm a believer that you should not trust it enough to put a little money in it. Now, does this mean you should always put all your money into one investment? No, that's not what it means. But it means you should be comfortable if you don't have better options. Like me, all the investments I do are in assets that I am fully confident and fully okay with putting all my money in them if I have no alternatives that are close to the quality of that asset. I'll give you an example. Bonds. I'm fully confident that US government bonds will almost 100% guaranteed to pay my money off. Now, the reason I say although you should have full confidence on it, you should not put all your money on it, is because there's always the unforeseeable risks that can happen with the universe. And so, if possible, what you should do, and I took this from Warren Buffett, and I think this is great advice, is whenever you're doing investments, just try to not do over 50%. And so if you have two really good investment theses, just 50-50. But if you don't trust the investment you are doing enough to put all your money there, or at least to put 50% of your money there, then you should not put a little bit of money in there either, because you are not confident that thing is actually going to work out. And money is really it's a productive asset that does not like risk. And so if you put your money in something that has risk often, eventually you're gonna lose that money. And the way you invest a little bit of money is way, you'll invest a lot of money. This is something most people don't get. This is the reason I like all the time I listen to people without money or people with very little money, which I still consider people without money, saying, "Oh, if I had more money, I would do this and I would do that." Like if you have more money, you can buy the battery real estate investments, and if you have more money, you can have better. It's good enough to put the money in a bond in the bank, whatever. Like those things makes no sense, because if you have more money, then the opportunity you're gonna seek is proportionally higher. And so if you think by having $1 million you could actually purchase the properties you're looking at in cash, and that way you'll be more competitive in the market, I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you have $1 million in cash, you're gonna look for better properties, and so you're gonna still have the same problem, just with better properties. The same goes with bonds. Like, yes, it is true that if you have 10 times more money, you have 10 times more dividends from the bonds, but you also want 10 times more money because you already have 10 times more money, and that's pretty much the way it goes. And so if you agree with me that your time is more valuable than money, if you believe your time is finite, which it's hard to disagree with, then I would argue that your time is more valuable than money, because money is not finite. You can always get more money, you can never get more time, and so it should be in your list of priorities to invest your time more wisely than your money. Why am I saying this? Because if you understand what I'm saying about investments, and if you agree that you should not do investments unless you are very confident that you should take a big position of this because it's gonna pay out, then when it comes to investing your time in doing work, you definitely should be convinced that the opportunity is so massive, that the upside is so massive, that it's worth taking the risk for your time. And most side gigs are not a massive opportunity. If it works out, it doesn't do much for you, and usually it works out because it's a low risk opportunity, or rather, sometimes it works out. Not all side gigs are created equally. Obviously, driving for Uber is very low risk, low reward. Doing dropshipping is very high risk and usually low reward as well. And so they vary, the opportunities vary. But this to say, you should not be allocating your time in a way that's not really carefully planned and thought of, because your time is very limited, and the way you allocated it now is the way you're gonna live in the future. And so if you do a good job with your time today, you'll have a lot tomorrow. If you do a bad job with your time today, you'll have to do exactly the same thing you did today, or at least be in the exact same place you were tomorrow. Alright? And so that's brings me to the point that if you don't trust the side gig enough to do it full time, then chances are you should not be doing it on the side. Now, I'll actually add an exception to this, which is that there is an exception which is sometimes the main thing is not working out. This is especially true if you have a business. Like, if you have a business and times are tough and things are not working out, and you just need to make payroll or just pay yourself or just buy food, in that case, it's obviously okay to do a side gig and to just drive Uber or stuff, but that is not the side gig. That's absolutely what I would not consider that a side gig, because you're doing that to support the main thing. And so it's an addition to the main thing. It's a part of the main thing. It's not really a separate thing from what you're doing in your day-to-day. If your technology business is going through a really tough time because some big competitor just stole all your customers or whatever, then it's perfectly fine to do a side gig as an office. But that's not that's not the reason why most people get into a side gig, and that's why I did this video. So if that's your case, like, don't worry. I'm not trying to convince you to not do that, because sometimes the when the rubber meets the road, you just gotta do the art stuff even if you don't want it. And if you gotta drive Ubers, you gotta drive Ubers. If you gotta make meals for random people in the street, you gotta do it. But if that's not your case, then you probably, if you already have a main thing, because that's the main thing here, is if you already have a main thing, then you should not be doing a side gig. But let's see what of before we get it. I'm already getting confused. I'm already confusing you. And the video is not working anymore, but I think the recording is. So you're probably listening to me and not seeing me anymore. That's okay. Alright, so what I want to tell you is that none of my wealthier friends actually started off their companies in the way we describe as a side hustle. So I've had a lot of either a lot or all of them started their companies a small way. Not all of them. I had some of them actually buying the current company they're operating, just because they're not on their first business anymore. But most of my wealthier friends, they just started small, but they did not try to start small while they had a job or while they were at another company. If you have trying to do multiple companies and stuff, you're not gonna succeed at. You are likely to not succeed at 10 of them. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna, because it's possible. Obviously, everything is possible to be done, but it is unlikely that you are going to succeed in building a large organization if you have multiple small side organizations that you're running. And the same goes with a job. If you have a job and you are also trying to grow your shoe flipping business on the side, you're probably not gonna do a very good job at your job, and you're not gonna get promoted, and you're not gonna get a career advance in that business, or at least you're gonna do it slower. And at the same time, your side hustle is not really gonna grow, because even if it's an opportunity that could grow, and it's a business that could become a real business, and you actually want it to become a real business, because you are holding it back from all your attention, you will likely not grow it to the proportion that it would grow if you were giving it this full attention. Now, I fully understand that some people say try to start small while they are in a company and they are doing a job, and that's a tough one, because I'm a big believer that if you burn the bridges, you'll be more effective, but not everyone has the stomach to do it. So that's the only maybe exception to doing a side hustle. But even then, I don't think you should think about it as a side hustle. You should think about it as the main thing, and the job just becomes what you use to support the main thing, and you're just working to support your business. And I think that makes sense, and that's not really a side hustle, because your small business that you're starting is the main thing. You just don't generate enough revenue yet to actually quit the job that's paying for the investment in the small business. But you're not doing any side hustles in that case, and I think that's the way to thinking about it. And so, if you just want more money or more happiness, because usually when people start side hustles, this is the plain and simple things they want. They either want more money or more happiness. And when I say happiness, it's because it would be a really long sentence to say here, to work on their passion. And so, if you just want more money, or if you just want to work on your passion, you shouldn't do side hustles. And so what should you do if you want to work on your passions, or if you want to make more money? What should you do? Let's start with the passion one, because that one is easier. So if you want more happiness, aka if you just are doing a side gig to spend more time on your passions, well, just get a hobby and don't kill yourself. Because if you are doing something as a side gig because you want to make some extra money to justify why you're spending time at it, but the real reason you're doing it is because you actually like and enjoy doing that thing, then you don't really need to justify it with it's a side hustle. Like, you can actually just do something you like. If you like selling, like if you like flowers, you don't need to open a flower shop. You can just do a flower collection. And the reason I say this, because this is not really my specialty. I'm not the follow your passion guy, so I'll be very clear. Like, you should take this section with a grain of salt, the specific slide here with a grain of salt, because I am the kind of guy that believes you should do whatever it takes, and then later on you can do whatever you want. Most people just want to be happy now and have balance now and blah blah blah, and I don't agree with that. But if you are someone that just wants to be happy now, I don't think you should tie whatever you're doing as work as with whatever you are really love. And this is an uncommon opinion and a popular belief, but one of the mentors I had, and one of the wealthiest people that I had help from, and they taught me a lot of things, actually used to say this sentence here, which is that if you do something you love as work, you'll soon find yourself just liking it. And this has not been true for everybody, but it has been true for a lot of people. And if you do something that you just absolutely love as work for a long enough amount of time, you'll probably just start loving it a little bit less. I'm not a believer that you should be doing something you are absolutely passionate about. Some people say that. To be honest, I think you should do something you like. and you're gonna like it more when you're winning, and you're gonna like it more when you get better at it. But if you're just trying to do it just to follow your passion and to follow the advice of be happy, blah blah blah, I don't think you're gonna be very passionate about it after a while. And not only that, but you're not gonna find happiness, because happiness usually comes to those that are not seeking it. I know it sounds a bit paradoxical, but it's the truth. Like, people that are not looking for happiness are usually the happiest ones. And so, if you're just doing the side hustle because you want to be happy, this is the best advice I think I can give you, which is that just get the hobby that relates to that passion, and just do it because you like it, and not because you're trying to justify to other people why it makes logical sense, because it's got some money tied into it. And so that's the minor reason why people do side hustles. And now I'd say the main one. So the main reason why people do side hustles is very simple. What should you do? So if you shouldn't do a side hustle, but you want to make more money, then what should you do? Well, if you just want more money, it's actually quite simple. All you should do is increase your main income. It's pretty simple. I think all the build up we did until this point was making very clear that this was gonna be my answer. So the only thing you should be doing if you want more money is not doing more side gigs and flipping phones and selling shoes on the internet and just trying to install ATM machines on street corners. Just increase your main income. And now what people usually say is, but Thomas, it's not that simple, it's very complicated, and it's hard, and it's impossible, and everything is hard, and everything is impossible, and actually, it is quite simple. So, you just gotta increase your market value. And now you may be wondering, how do I do that? How do I increase my market value? Well, it's actually pretty simple. So, there's a couple ways you can do it, there's even more ways than this you can do it, but the main ways you can do it is, first off, to learn a very specific skill that's in high demand. And so if you are at a entry level job and you don't understand how you can make more than 5, 10, 20 bucks an hour, well, the answer is very simple. Learn a skill that is so in demand, and that's probably going to be so in demand in the next few months and in the next few years, the next few decades, that you actually are going to start off at a higher base pay than whatever you were doing. And by the way, this also applies to entrepreneurs and to people that run companies. If your company is not making as much money as you want it, you just need to solve a bigger problem. In this case, you're learning a specific skill to provide a service that is in high demand and that is valuable, very valuable to the customer. So you just gotta do a better job at solving bigger problems and more valuable problems, either to your employer or to your employees. That's as simple as that. And so, that's one of the ways. The other way, if you're a brain lazy person, but you are a hard work, not lazy person, because there's usually two different kinds of people. There's the people that work hard, there's the people that work smart, and then there's the very special people that work both hard and smart, and that's the one you should strive for. But if you want to work smart, and you just really want to focus on working smart, just hiring a very specific skill, a very valuable in high demand skill, like coding, like all these artificial intelligence stuff, could be the way for you. But if you just want to work hard and you don't really want to be smart because you're just a dropout like me, and you're just gruff and you just want to do the hard work, well, then there's an option for you. Don't worry, because you can also do the shit no one wants to do. And so what is the shit no one wants to do? I can give you an example, which is fishing in Alaska. So don't quote me here because this is not my specialty, but from what I understand, Alaska fishing is very well played, because you will work, you pretty much live on the ship. You will spend your day in the middle of storms, in the middle of freezing fucking cold, wet, with dum-dums around you, in a boat that might sink, and where in a field where people often die from various causes because they can just literally, physically put up with the conditions. And so, if you are not in a disposition to learn a skill in high demand, then you could search for opportunities like this. Or other opportunities like this are, for example, driving oil tankers. I don't know why, but for some reason I actually know that driving oil tankers in countries like Angola and other countries like that can actually be very well rewarded, and works like that. Like there's a lot of jobs that are available in third world countries where they need people that are qualified and nobody wants to do them. So they pay very well for people to do them, and so that's an option. And if you run a company, once again, this also applies to you. And so if you learn a skill that's in high demand, you can provide a more expensive service. And if you run a company that just waste management, that's not really a very specific skill, but nobody wants to do it. And so if you are in an industry, for example, funeral services it's one of the things that, like, nobody wants to do it. Like, it's not rocket science. You just need a casket and the body. That's all you need to have your first customer and start the business. But nobody wants to do that, and for that reason it's well rewarded. And so that's another way to increase your value in the market. And then the other way, and this is probably the necessary way if you want to scale these other two ways, is to become an income producing machine at your company. Whether you own the company or work at the company, if you understand how to get clients, how to get interest from the market, and how to convert that interest in paying clients, you will do very well on your life. And so if you know a skill that's in high demand, and also it's a skill that's really tough to do and to implement, so nobody wants to do it, and you really learn how to acquire customers for that skill, and how to how to get people to buy you that skill, then you're gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna make a shitload of money, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for a company, or you have a company which is basically the same as working for yourself. So this is the way, and like, this is not rocket science. Like, this is the reason I don't believe in side gigs and side hustles and blah blah blah, because you can just grow the main thing. Why having side stuff when you can focus your efforts on 10xing the main thing? Because you can add a side hustle and make 50% more at the end of the month, or you can really increase your market value and make 10 times, 20 times, sometimes even 50, 100 times more than what you were previously doing, just by becoming a very valuable person or a very valuable company on the marketplace. And that's it. And now you may be asking, but that's hard, and I want to make a lot of money, and I also want to be happy and have work-life balance and do all the cool stuff they do in the movies. And if that's your case, then tough shit, I can help you. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you so much for watching.